Carol Wayne, the blonde angel of The Tonight Show, was once the very image of American beauty during television's golden era. Her career soared thanks to her charming comedic roles, but her private life was the complete opposite. 3 marriages, financial scandals, and secret affairs. Her death not only shocked the world, but also raised countless unanswered questions. Stay tuned until the end of this video to uncover the heartbreaking story behind a star who once shined so brightly. And meanwhile, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new untold stories about Hollywood stars. Smash that like button and hit the notification bell. And meanwhile, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new untold stories about Hollywood stars. Smash that like button and hit the notification bell. Carol Wayne, the woman with golden blonde hair and an innocent yet seductive smile, was born in Chicago in 1942. At just 15, she and her sister Nana stepped into the world of performance, joining the Ice Capade skating troupe on a tour through 42 cities. The stage lights glittered, but behind that brilliance, Carol paid a heavy price. The sisters had to leave school, sacrificing their childhood and teenage years for a life spent drifting from rink to rink. Disaster struck not long after. During one performance, while executing a routine move, Carol suddenly slipped and fell. What seemed like an ordinary tumble left her with a 12-centimeter scar on her knee, a wound that permanently ended her long-term dream of skating. She pushed herself to finish the tour, but deep inside, she knew that the door to youth had closed. No carefree dates, not even a high school diploma to fall back on. All that remained was a hollow emptiness and a quiet grief for a stolen childhood. In what felt like a dead end, Carol and her sister made a bold choice. They became showgirls at the Tropicana Casino in Las Vegas. With her graceful figure and natural charm, Carol quickly drew attention. Yet, the path they chose found no support at home. Their mother, looking at the dazzling but revealing costumes, sneered, "Maybe you can ask them to throw in a few more feathers." The biting remark only deepened Carol's realization that she had stepped into a world where allure was sometimes the only ticket to survive. From Las Vegas, she often drove with her sister to Los Angeles. At one party, a man walked up to her and said, "As if by fate, we're looking for a girl just like you." The very next morning, Carol had her first screen test at a studio. At first, she couldn't hide her doubts, but with charm and confidence, she pulled it off. Later, she would half joke, half confess that it was really her figure that landed her the roles. "Ever since then, I've gotten every part because of this," she laughed, pointing down at her body. While working in Las Vegas, Carol also met Loretto Larry Sir, a passionate romance that quickly led to marriage in May 1965. But the dream of a stable family existed only on paper. They barely had a proper honeymoon, and within just 2 years, the marriage collapsed. Carol later recalled with biting irony, "Skating taught me how to be flexible, but that marriage really taught me what flexibility means." After the breakup, another door suddenly opened. Carol began landing guest roles in hit TV series from The Man from Untold to I Dream of Jeannie, often playing sexy comedic characters with names like Ginger Levier or Bootsy Nightingale. But it was 1967, the very year she divorced, that marked her biggest turning point. An invitation from Johnny Carson and the team at The Tonight Show. Carol was cast in the sketch Tea Time with Art Fern, where she played the matinee girl. Innocent yet alluring, often delivering double entendre lines that came across as both playful and suggestive. That image quickly became her trademark, making Carol Wayne a familiar star. She appeared on the show more than 100 times, winning over audiences with a charm that couldn't be imitated. Her chemistry with Carson was undeniable, as was Wayne's physical appeal, leading many to believe the two shared a secret romance behind the scenes. Wayne's reaction to these rumors was rather surprising. In one interview, she didn't deny the chemistry between herself and Carson. In fact, she hinted that there had once been feelings between them. However, according to Wayne, the timing was always wrong. It seemed they were never single at the same time to actually be together. In that same interview, she even dropped a bold remark about her bond with Carson. "He loves me. I love him. It's an understanding, something obvious. He still sees me every day in his dreams." Of course, Carson. After stepping out of her marriage with Larry Sue, Carol Wayne met Barry Feinstein, the celebrated photographer who had captured legendary images of Bob Dylan, George Harrison, and even Steve McQueen. Feinstein was already a well-known figure in both the music and film worlds. But what made things intriguing was that when Wayne came into his life, his marriage to singer Mary Travers of the folk trio Peter, Paul, and Mary had not yet officially ended. In fact, 1967, the year Mary and Barry divorced, was also the year Carol Wayne found herself single again. Rumor has it that Wayne once mockingly referred to the famous trio as Peter, Paul, and Scary, a telling glimpse of the sharp, sometimes biting wit behind her sweet and charming exterior. Wayne and Feinstein married in 1969 and welcomed a son, Alex, the following year. Fans believed Carol had finally found a safe harbor, a steady television career, a talented husband, and a beautiful child. But happiness lasted only about 5 years. Differences in daily life, compounded by the pressures of work and the constant glare of the entertainment world, gradually eroded the marriage. By 1974, Wayne and Feinstein had separated, leaving Carol to step into a new role, that of a single mother. Loneliness didn't linger for long. In 1975, Carol remarried, this time to Burt Sugarman, a respected television and film producer. Sugarman was the creative force behind several hit shows, including Celebrity Sweepstakes. Their shared professional world helped strengthen their bond. Wayne was not only his wife, but also appeared as a guest on some of his productions. For a while, this collaboration gave Carol stability in the television industry, though it also confined her to a familiar image, keeping her from breaking through with more substantial roles. Carol Wayne's artistic ambitions, however, never faded. After nearly a decade away from the big screen, she returned in the film Scavenger Hunt, playing the role of a nurse. While not a defining performance, it marked her attempt to move beyond light-hearted comedy. To many, Wayne was the epitome of effortless charm, but she herself longed to be recognized as a true actress, not just the matinee girl who made people laugh for a few minutes each night. Then, in the early 1980s, another blow struck. Dissatisfied with the state of The Tonight Show, Johnny Carson threatened to quit. NBC, desperate to keep him, changed the format, cutting the runtime from 90 minutes down to just 60. The move eased Carson's workload, but it also eliminated several recurring segments, including Carol Wayne's beloved matinee girl. For her, it was a devastating loss, as that role had been the very ticket that kept her connected to millions of viewers for so many years. After 1980, Carol Wayne's life veered into a darker path than ever before. Her marriage to Burt Sugarman collapsed, leaving her not only with heartbreak, but also with a gaping hole in her career. Her regular appearances on The Tonight Show abruptly ended almost overnight. And for the first time in more than a decade, Carol no longer had steady work to hold on to. For an actress who had been used to a predictable routine, the sudden freefall was truly staggering. Acting opportunities slowly disappeared. In the years that followed, Carol appeared only sporadically in a few minor roles, never enough to support herself or sustain her artistic ambitions. Desperate and financially strained in 1984, she made a controversial decision to pose for Playboy. To many, it was the ultimate compromise of dignity in exchange for clinging to fading fame. For Carol, perhaps it was just a temporary escape, a way to prove that she still existed in show business. But behind the glamorous images the public saw, a cruel reality was eating away at her life. Around this time, Carol developed a heavy addiction to clove cigarettes, a habit she reportedly picked up through her son, Alex. What began as mere curiosity soon became all-consuming. The pungent smell clinging so strongly to her body that some Hollywood restaurants flat out refused to serve her. And when clove cigarettes no longer gave her the same kick, Carol turned to more dangerous substances. The habit devoured most of the meager money she managed to earn. Also, in 1984, Carol Wayne was forced to file for bankruptcy. In court documents, she made a heartbreaking admission. She had no income. A woman who had once been a familiar face on television had now reached 40, adrift and nearly abandoned by Hollywood. Her finances spiraled out of control while the spotlight of her career seemed to have gone out forever. And yet, fate still flickered with one last chance. That same year, Carol took on a rare, serious role in the film Heartbreakers. The film was selected to screen at the Berlin International Film Festival, a milestone coveted by any actor. Most notably, Carol's performance moved acclaimed critic Roger Ebert, who wrote, "Her performance is so good, so heartbreaking. If you can say that, it holds the whole movie together." It could have been the beginning of a new chapter, a rebirth of Carol Wayne's career as a serious actress, but reality would turn out to be something else entirely. In January 1985, Carol Wayne decided to vacation at the luxurious Lasadas Resort in Manzanillo, Mexico. On the surface, the trip was meant to refresh herself, to break free from addictions and start over. But accompanying her was Edward Durston, a familiar Hollywood hanger-on, a car salesman by trade, but notorious for his hard-partying lifestyle. From the start, their relationship was ambiguous. Were they friends, lovers, or just temporary companions? The only certainty was that Durst was hardly a positive influence on Wayne. The Las Hadas getaway quickly turned into a string of surface-level pleasures, parties, dancing, drinking. If Wayne truly intended to quit her old habits, just a few days in Mexico proved the opposite. Hotel staff recalled seeing a Carol Wayne who still looked radiant, but at the same time appeared exhausted and out of control, as if she were using fleeting joys to mask a deeper fear. On January 10th, trouble began. Wayne and Durston were scheduled to return to Los Angeles, but for reasons still unclear, they missed their flight. That misstep became the turning point leading to tragedy. Staying longer at Las Hadas meant a hefty extra cost, one neither of them could afford. Seeing this, the resort staff arranged for them to transfer to a cheaper hotel, the Playa de Santiago. But that change lit the fuse. Compared to the glamour of Lasadas, Playa de Santiago was another world. When their taxi pulled up around 8:30 p.m., Carol Wayne erupted in fury. She felt humiliated having to stay in what she angrily called a rat hole. While Durston and the porter carried luggage upstairs, Wayne refused to step inside, standing defiantly outside the taxi. Witnesses later remembered her rage vividly, a woman upset, disappointed, and seemingly unraveling. When Durst returned to the lobby after dropping off the bags, Wayne had vanished. No one saw which direction she went, and no one knew where she disappeared into the Mexican night. Durst didn't search. Instead, he sat at the hotel bar drinking, waiting, hoping she might come back on her own. But she never did. Many later believed this was the moment when Durston could have changed everything had he only gone out to look for her. His actions afterward only deepened suspicion. Rather than calling the police or continuing to wait, he simply left, booking himself into another hotel. The following day, Durston casually boarded a flight back to Los Angeles, taking Carol Wayne's luggage with him. When airline staff asked about it, he coolly replied that Carol would pick it up later. That chilling remark, in truth, was the final full stop. Carol Wayne vanished forever that night, while the last man to be with her turned his back and walked away as if she had never existed. On January 13, 1985, a local fisherman casting his nets in shallow waters suddenly spotted a body floating on the waves. As he pulled it closer, he realized it was the lifeless form of Carol Wayne, the woman who had once made millions laugh as the matinee lady on The Tonight Show. The scene not only stunned the fisherman, but also marked a tragic final chapter in the short, fading life of a former star. Carol's body was still fully clothed, as if she had walked out of the hotel only moments earlier. Mexican police immediately launched an investigation classifying it as an unusual death. Theories swirled. Had Carol slipped and drowned? Had despair over her collapsing career and personal life driven her to end it all? Or was there another hand at play, the hand of Edward Durston, the last man seen with her? An autopsy was quickly conducted. Results showed that Carol had died approximately 36 to 48 hours before being discovered, the very window of time that matched her disappearance after the heated argument with Durston at the Pad Santiago Hotel. Strangely, no traces of alcohol or drugs were found in her system. Though she had once been addicted to clove cigarettes and rumored to have other vices, in her final hours, Carol appeared to be completely sober. That detail only deepened the mystery. Prosecutor Jorge Hernandez, who oversaw the case, stated he did not believe Carol had simply thrown herself into the water. The sea in that area was shallow and calm, and her body bore no signs of a violent fall or impact. No bruises, no broken bones, nothing to suggest an accident. Hernandez directed attention toward Durston, Carol's enigmatic companion. Only hours after their fight, Durston abandoned her, left Mexico, and even took her luggage back to Los Angeles. Most suspicious of all, he never reported her missing, never showed concern. To investigators, his behavior was not only irresponsible, it rare of foul play. And when people began to dig into Edward Durst's past, suspicions only grew. In 1969, he had been involved in another chilling case, the death of young actress Diane Linkletter. Diane had called Durston to her home shortly before leaping to her death from a balcony. While police at the time ruled it drug-related, many never forgot that Durst was the last person to see her alive. The eerie parallel to Carol Wayne's mysterious death made the public shudder. Two vibrant women, both linked to Durst in their final hours, both gone under shadowy circumstances. And yet all those suspicions ultimately led nowhere. The evidence was too thin, the testimony too weak to bring charges. The case was closed with an official ruling. Carol Wayne died by accident. The report suggested she might have been walking along the beach, exhausted and distracted, and slipped into the water. On paper, the explanation seemed reasonable. But for those who knew of Carol's final hours, it was far from convincing. To them, the mystery remained intact, a wound that would never fully close. Her death carried a bitter irony. For years, audiences had joked about her hourglass figure on The Tonight Show, quipping that with a bust like that, she could never drown. Yet, tragically, the sea became her final grave. Even Johnny Carson once teased on air. "One day, you'll be 47. To which Carol playfully replied, "I hope so." But she never made it. Gone at 42, 5 short years shy of that number. Hollywood was stunned. A television star who had brought so much laughter had now become the victim of a tragic, unresolved ending. Johnny Carson, who had shared the stage with Carol for years, was so shaken that he retired the Art Fern character for nearly a year. To him, the matinee lady was not just a sidekick. She was a memory of a gifted woman who never had the chance to live a full life. When Carol Wayne's body was brought back to the United States, Hollywood didn't just lose a familiar face. It lost a piece of its collective memory. She left behind her young son, Alex, and a string of unanswered questions. Perhaps it is that very uncertainty that keeps her story alive. A haunting reminder that beneath Hollywood's dazzling lights lie deaths that may never be explained. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, stay with me. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos about Hollywood stars. See you in the next one.